Welcome back to another haunting episode, my friends, and yes, we're going to dissect the dark and often paranormal history of the White Horse Tavern in Rhode Island. Many of the staff at the White Horse Tavern have witnessed something paranormal, so much so that other evidence just isn't needed. Their own experiences are enough. Paranormal investigators claim to have photographic proof, EVPs and other confirmation that clearly shows this old property, built in 1652, is truly haunted. Over the years, it has seen many owners, and one of those was even a real-life pirate. So let's delve into what this property has to say. Originally, the structure was a family home for Francis Brinley for 20 years, until 1673 when William Mays Sr. fell in love with the property and the profit he could make from turning it into a tavern and inn. By 1702, William had died, and the property was passed on to his quite notorious son, William Jr., who was a pirate. He worked hard to prove himself to the local people, and it seems that they forgive his criminal past. It may have helped that William Jr. managed to get a license to serve many different varieties of alcohol too, boosting the tavern's sales substantially. But it's safe to say the British authorities were not so forgiving of William's notorious past, feeling that he deserved to be punished for his crimes and not prospering. So William passed the business over to his sister Mary Mays Nichols and her husband. Now Mary took full advantage of this opportunity and let travellers spend the night in one of their rooms. Here guests would have to share with other patrons, but if there was no room available, Mary would not see you out on the street, but make room for you with a pile of straw or other cushioning on the floor. From here they started offering lunch to the city's councilmen, and it's thought that the White Horse Tavern is the birthplace of the idea of businessman's lunch. But sadly, not all things were to run smoothly for the couple. One morning, a guest was discovered dead in his bed, but it was unclear whether he had perished from a contagious disease. The man who had been sharing a room with him was nowhere to be found, probably due to the fact that in those circumstances, you'd be expected to quarantine yourself on Coaster's Harbour Island. Now, sent to the island, poor Mary and a young girl who worked at the tavern hadn't caught anything from their guest, but they did manage to contract smallpox while quarantined. Mary survived and managed to come back home, but the poor girl sadly died. Now, the guest who died at the White Horse Tavern was never identified. The only person who may have known his name was the man with whom he'd shared a room with. Due to this man running away to avoid quarantine, the guest was buried in an unmarked pauper's grave. To this day, his identity is a complete mystery. For many years, the Nicholses kept the tavern in the family, seemingly going from strength to strength. But by 1895, it was sold to Thomas and Bridget Preece, who turned it into a rooming house. It was a business venture doomed from the start, as it never made enough money to provide for the upkeep of the building. By 1954, the tavern was screaming out for some attention, and the Van Buren family came to the rescue, gifting it to the Preservation Society of Newport County. After 3 years of hard work, the White Horse Tavern was open again and looking better than ever. But while the business is doing great, it may have inherited some ghosts too, and it seems like at least one of these is a past owner of the White Horse Tavern. You see, one of the spirits likes to keep an eye on the guests at the tavern and even supervises the staff. It's unclear whether the spirit is male or female, but workers have felt an invisible presence tap on their shoulders while whispering to them that it's time to lock up, which must be frustrating as the staff members say that usually that isn't the case. This entity is also known to stop people wandering off to the second floor of the property and can be felt patrolling the bar area at closing time while staff count up the takings for the night. I guess you could say that this ghost is trying to be helpful, protecting the place it loved in life. Maybe it gets closing time wrong, as when they were alive, it was a different time. Another poor spirit that haunts the White Horse Tavern is an elderly man, described as wearing shabby colonial attire. He seems to hang out in the main dining room, being drawn to women who are sensitive to spirits. He will apparently bother them, as if trying to get help to move on, but so far his wish hasn't come true. But just in case you men were feeling left out, his spirit has also been experienced in the upstairs men's bathroom, so good luck with that one. One visitor to the establishment was taking photographs in the dining room, and at the time didn't notice anything unusual. That is, until the photo was looked at further and the face of a woman was seen just above one of the tables. Now that must have been quite a shock. Many of the staff at the tavern have had some kind of paranormal experience as well as visitors, but strangely, even though the place has been explored by many paranormal research groups, no evidence which has been reported as captured has been released. Maybe to back up their claims of this property being haunted, you will find a photograph on the wall of the old man who died there and pesters people so he can move on, as well as the picture of the female spirit's face. So do we believe that this place is haunted, or could it be the overactive imagination of staff and visitors alike? Honestly, I'm not sure what to believe. There is certainly enough history attached to the place and has also had deaths occur inside, all important ingredients for a haunted location. The past owners also have a strong attachment to the tavern, as highlighted by the entity said to patrol the bar area. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, my friends. The White Horse Tavern does seem like a cool place to visit, and you never know. You might be the one to find that evidence that so far has not been released to the public. So until next time, dissectors, stay safe out there.